Now to England, who will train today ahead of two crucial games in the Nations League against Greece and the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah, those games are Lee Carsley's final games in interim charge, but his plans have been disrupted because, as we're about to show you, 8 players, yes, 8, have withdrawn from the squad yesterday because of injury.
Speaking on back pages tonight, the Mirror's John Cross and Charlie Wyett of The Sun were both angry about the dropouts and questioned whether Thomas Tuchel's delayed arrival as head coach has had an impact.
I think it's an absolute shambles, and I feel really sorry for Lee Carsley. This wouldn't have happened under Gareth Southgate. It didn't happen under Gareth Southgate. You know, a huge part of his time in charge is the way he got players all reporting for international duty. Even if you even have aches and pains, there's other players already not in this squad apart from the 8 that pulled out today, like Kobe Mainu and John Stones. And I think the FA and Thomas Tuchel are to blame. I think it's ludicrous that Thomas Tuchel's not starting till January the 1st. He should be in charge now.
I'm incensed. I completely agree with what Charlie said. And I honestly, I feel really angry about it. Someone who's incredibly passionate about covering the England football team, I think it's a complete and utter joke. I think it's wrong on so many levels. I mean, honestly, how they've, brought in a new manager and then allowed him to start on January the 1st, it was ridiculous, an absolute farce in the first place.
I know people are saying it's only the Nations League, but if England want to get promotion out of this group, they have to do well in Athens on Thursday. And it is, linked to Thomas Tuchel, because if England finish second in this group, next March is going to be playoffs and not, World Cup qualifiers or some friendlies. So I think the FA have made a huge mistake in they may have got the right man, but they made a complete mess of it by not having him in charge now, because I don't think we'd have seen as many players pull out as we've seen today.
You've got sort of kind of almost half a squad pulling out. And why are they doing that? Well, they're probably under pressure, for their club managers, which I think, by the way, is an absolute disgrace. That completely, really disregards England fans, international football fans, and everyone that is passionate about following their country, and also about the players who ultimately probably want to play for their country, but also feel pressured by their clubs. That is an absolute joke. And you are left then with an absolute farce of a squad. And they're all saying, basically, well, it's only Lee Carsley, isn't it? It's only England.
Well, Michael Bridge is here for more on this. So some very strong comments from Charlie Wyett and John Cross as the situation with Thomas Tuchel harmed Lee Carsley ahead of these games.
Oh, it was really interesting hearing them both on back pages tonight. Obviously, they're very critical. John Cross seems very upset and angry. Obviously, John's covered England for the last 20, 25 years. Sorry, John, not showing your age there. But it's an interesting one. Thomas Tuchel has been appointed to win the World Cup, hasn't he? That is the key here. I think he alluded to it in his press conferences as well. Obviously, there are a number of pullouts this time around, but I think the last 2 squads Lee Carsley selected, there were pullouts as well. Look, how many of these players who pulled out yesterday are going to play for their clubs in a couple of weeks? We'll wait and see. Might be niggly injuries. It is a disappointment, but yeah, it's. I was quite taken aback by the reaction of both, but it just. I suppose that defeat to Greece at home at Wembley has really kind of knocked maybe the pull of Lee Carsley, the confidence in him. When he spoke after the match, he said, I was happy to go back to the under-21s, because there was a number of people who actually thought, well, it might be Lee Carsley's time. He might deserve the opportunity. He's won the European under-21 championships. We've seen other nations promote their under-21 managers to the head coach role. Then all of a sudden, Thomas Tuchel, a huge name, a big manager, someone we all know very well here. We've interviewed before, who knows the Premier League and England very well, gets appointed. It's a big name. But I do go back to it. He's here to win a World Cup. However, as Charlie pointed out near the end of that, the key is whatever people think of the Nations League, Thomas Tuchel will be watching these games very closely, because he's probably thinking, I don't really want to play those games in March. He wants to get the World Cup qualification underway. Yeah,
absolutely. It's hard. I mean, you speak to footballers, we all speak to Premier League players. It's this time of year is particularly, I think, that everyone's feeling tired and burnt out, aren't they, as well? And people complain about how many games there are, and all of a sudden, these internationals come along. And if you have got a slight niggle or you're feeling a little bit under weather, and if you have got a slight... so much illness going around everything else...
Yeah,
it's just a very difficult time of year as well, isn't it?
Yeah, as I say, I mean, I'll be interested to see just how many of those players who pulled out yesterday will play for those clubs in a couple of weeks. After that, obviously, there is an international break of international fixtures, and it doesn't come back till March. But what we do know is, straight away, Premier League returns, Bundesliga returns for Harry Kane, Christmas matches, European matches, the expanded Champions League. So, as I say, we'll wait to see how many of those players play in those Premier League matches in 2 weeks' time.